Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is that you're living with. We want everybody to know that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone, ever. And I hear on Invisible Condition, we get it. Okay, I, invisible conditions can have those tough days. I've had them. We've all had them, right? The thing is that you got to keep in mind is there is always hope. Always, always hope. So I have a question for you. Have you lost your hope? Some days are better than others, right? Don't ever lose your hope. If you feel like you've lost your hope, please let me know. I want to talk to you because hope is important. So jump on that email right there. Go to jeff@hydrowithhope.com and just put hope in the subject line and tell me what's going on, man. I want to help. So let me know. I don't like it when people are hopeless. And so let's talk about it and figure it out. Also, speaking of hope, I want to talk to you about my nonprofit, which is the nonprofit side of Invisible Condition. It's called Hydro with Hope. See, we're serious about this around here. Hydro with Hope. And it's an organization, a nonprofit 501c3 that we created almost 4 years ago now. Wow, time flies. Hydro with Hope is there to help people living and thriving and struggling sometimes with the condition that I was born with, which is called hydrocephalus. And so that is a condition that frequently requires brain surgery, sometimes repeated brain surgery. I'm 7 brain surgeries in myself. And I've made it out pretty good as far as I can tell. There's a lot of people that have had a lot more surgeries than me. So I want to help those families. I want to help everybody that needs help. And so we actually have a journal that we published called My Hydro Warrior Story that kind of walks people through that experience of, oh no, we got to do it again. Holy crap. Here comes another brain surgery. What do we do? How do we keep track of everything? That's what the journal's for. I also love talking with families, sometimes talking them off the ledge. It's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning. Brain surgery is not the end of the world. And so I want to give you hope. And my wife and I also speak all over the world to audiences of all sizes to spread that hope. There is always hope. So there is always hope. And I want to put a link on the screen here so that nope, not that one. That one, there we go. Now we can read it. That is our donation page. So if you feel so inclined, thank you in advance. You could even do a monthly donation. That would be amazing. If you or somebody you love, this condition is so common, like literally hundreds of thousands of babies are born with this every single year. Every 15 minutes in the United States, somebody's going under for surgery in an operating room somewhere in the country to have brain surgery to treat this. It is common. Chances are, if you have 1,000 friends on social media somewhere, a couple of them have hydrocephalus. You probably don't even know it. So your donation will go to good cause. And so anyway, all right, that is good. I wanted to just make sure you heard about that. Now, let's talk about my guest today. You're going to love this guy. Our guest is Mike Cuevas, and he is an author, speaker, lived experience advocate who is honestly changing the way we understand dissociative identity disorder. It's a tongue twister today, apparently. Instead of seeing DID as a flaw or something that makes him broken, which is not true, Mike helps reframe that as a powerful survival adaptation shaped by trauma, because there's trauma, there definitely can be. So through storytelling and nervous system informed education, along with deep compassion, Mike works to reduce stigma, right? Good. Yes. Reduce that stigma around invisible conditions like DID and remind people that healing begins with safety, self-trust, and resilience. And man, is that true. Let's bring Mike on the show. Let me click on that real quick. There we go. All right, now we're ready. There we go. Mike, thank you so much for being here, man. This is so cool. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you. Thank you for the space and the opportunity. Really,
Absolutely. I can't wait, man. This is so cool. After I got done talking with you, I would not shut up talking to my wife about you, man. I was telling her all about that when we first met, and had our conversation about being on the show. Like, I couldn't wait to tell her what we were going to talk about and stuff. Like, this is so cool. But I do have one question that I like to ask everybody that comes on the show first thing right off the bat. There's no wrong answer. It's all good. I love hearing everybody's answers. So on the days that are tougher, we all have them. Some days are better than others. On those really rough days, how do you still maintain hope?
I was listening to your opening monologue. Great. I love it. And then when you came to my introduction, there's one label that I'm really proud of, and I might have left it out, and that's father. Being a father is a blessing beyond anything for me. It's my why I get up in the morning. It's why I decide to do my work and do my mental exercises. So my hope on those tough days is really just my boys. I have two amazing boys, and sometimes I don't know what it is. If anyone's a parent, they might know why this is, but they have a way of just erasing everything that happened throughout your day and just to lift you up out of nowhere. And those are what my boys are to me on those, especially on those tough days, because we'll get into this later, but my face glitches a lot. Yeah. So on those tough days, I have my little 5-year-old Johnny shouting from across the room, "Dad, you're glitching again." So it reminds me, I'm like, all right, Pop, you're right. I'll do my mental exercises. I'll calm down.
Right.
But it reminds me, be present, be in the moment. Sometimes the reason why I think we have those bad days is because expectations and pressures come so fast to us sometimes.
Yeah.
That we relinquish ourselves to those pressures, and we hope that peace will come back later if we just start turning the wheels. Right, peace will come eventually, and sometimes we really just have to be in the moment and stop and say it's okay to deal with what we're dealing. It's okay to have a bad day and sit with it for a moment and just count our blessings.
Right. Totally. Yeah. I had a guest on the show a few months ago, and his daughter is I think she, at the time he was telling the story, she was like 7 or 8, and something happened. She's on the autism spectrum, and something happened during the day. They were on the way to something, and there was something that out of the ordinary that happened, and it kind of threw her for a loop, and she kind of like glitched, right? Kind of did the kind of freaked out, and then got everything calmed back down, and everything was cool. It was just for a few minutes, and they got back in the car and we're heading home, and the dad looked back at the daughter in the rearview mirror, said, "Sorry about that, sweetheart, man. I know that makes it for a really rough day, and I'm sorry. Tomorrow will be better." And she looked at her dad and just said, "Dad, today can still be good. That was just for a few minutes. It was just a rough minute or two. It's not the whole day. The day's not ruined. We got a whole day ahead of us. It'll be great, So just leave it to a kid, right? Leave it to a child, to like educate us,
No, most definitely.
Right? I love that. So I've never forgot that, man. I wish I could meet all these amazing kids that people talk about on the show, man. It's so cool. So, well, all right, man, let's dive in here. So for people that aren't familiar, and by the way, before we do that, I do want to acknowledge real quick. I want to acknowledge everybody watching today, man. Thank you so much for being here. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you are in a unique spot where you can actually comment, and we can converse with you during the show. So if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, just in something that Mike says like sparks your interest, or like, what, I've never heard that before, or you have a question for him, just throw a comment in there and we can get back to you on that or whatever. And then also, this is Mike's website, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, but that is a really good way to be able to contact him and learn more about what he's doing. So let's dive in though. we're talking about dissociative identity disorder. What in the that is a I think it used to be called something different, and it's now I think that's the more preferred term for it. Can you just enlighten us, like, what is that, and how long have you been living with it?
What is that? Is
What
the
is
exact question
DID?
I asked my therapist when she told me you had the idea. I'm like, what is that exactly? So
Yeah.
don't feel too bad. And it was known by something else, to be honest. It was known as multiple personality disorder.
There you go.
And that got changed by the APA sometime in the 90s, I believe.
Okay.
And is known as dissociative identity disorder. But honestly, me, for example, I didn't know that that's the name had been changed. So I was walking around with this shame and this guilt, thinking I had multiple personality disorder, not knowing it was DID. And that's part of the things that I'm talking about and speaking against is that stigma. Even if it was still called multiple personality disorder, I still shouldn't have been ashamed or felt any guilt for speaking up about that, right? And I think that's what my work is about. But what is DID? Going back to your original question. DID is our nervous system's way of adapting to our environment. It's our mental health, so to speak. So those of us who have DID have adaptive responses to certain environments that created fragmentations in our head. In other words, to make it very simple, and then the way my therapist explained it to me that made it really make sense was when you were born with an original document. Now, something happened in your life to where a traumatic event happened to where your brain couldn't process everything or else it would have shattered. So what your brain did was copy and pasted. And you've been copying and pasting through traumatic events all your life. Now, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
But why do I have all these voices and all these other questions started coming up, right? And she's like, look, slow down. I know you have a bunch of questions. And that's another thing I speak about is when we first get diagnosed, we want to rush the healing process. We want to rush everything.
Of course.
And a part of us it was still wired in that way, where if we're looking at a chessboard, we wanted to know all the pieces in order to make the correct move. So the moment we found out we had DID, okay, I stopped asking one critical question. And that changed from having shame and guilt to having empathy for myself. And that I was going around asking myself, what's wrong with me? Not knowing that that's what's bringing the shame and the guilt to the rest of us.
Sure.
And then I started asking myself, what happened to me? And that allowed me to give the rest of us compassion and empathy. Because once I started asking myself what happened to me, I really started to discover, okay, what parts of me came from? Why is it they have the emotions they have? One of the most interesting things about what I had is after I came to full terms into understanding this is what I have and having empathy for myself, I started going back into my life. I'm like, dude, no wonder I was reacting that way. No wonder I was acting that. No wonder I dissociated. No wonder.
Yeah.
And it all came with space and understanding and not rushing like I just did right now.
No worries. Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I just a totally clarifying question. Like I just want to make sure the audience understands too. When you say they and we, you're talking about not just you, you're talking about
those of us that have DID are in the DID community. In order for us to completely understand ourselves, we refer to ourselves as a system. So if you reach out to other DID members, you might see the Woodland system, shout out, the Giano system, the Rainbow system, which allows us, for me, and I say this for me, all the experiences and symptoms that I say are from DID or from my personal experience or our personal experience. And I don't speak for any other system or DID out there.
Sure.
But when I say we, it helps me communicate with my parts and my alters.
Yeah.
And we call ourselves the committee.
Okay.
Because when we were told we had DID and we have a system, you should think about naming your system, this and that. The committee, when we talked about it amongst each other, me and the voices, like, dude, let's just call ourselves a committee. That's how we talk anyways. That's how we communicate anyways, right? So that's how we got the name committee. So when I go like this is me acknowledging my voices in my head.
Yep.
And when I do that, it keeps my face from glitching or from twitching too much.
Sure.
And I could hear Johnny's voice right now in my head. Don't glitch. So this is me acknowledging them, because one thing I didn't understand is I was walking around through life just holding it together, just going about and not knowing how long I would be able to do that. And I got tired of it.
Yeah.
And especially after seeing my boys, like my biggest why is my boys, right? So knowing that they were bouncing off our energy, I had to change. And I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm going to be completely honest. I completely shifted mode, so I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
We're good, man. You're on track. You're good, man. You're totally on track. You're just fine, man. Don't worry about it. Been there, done that too, by the way. You're not the only one. When I go on shows, I've been on many TV shows as well and podcasts and different things. And believe me, it happens to the best of us, happens to all of us. So it's all good, man. I tell you what, that actually is a perfect place for us to take a break. So that actually worked out all right. So I'm gonna take you off the screen and do that, and then I will bring you back here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll go from there. So Mike, thank you, man. We'll see you in just a minute. All right, everybody, listen. For those of you who have been watching for the last few months, like your understanding of me is that I am a straight up coffee nerd, and I am not ashamed to admit that. I am a total coffee nerd. And one of the things that means is that if a bag of coffee does not have a roast date on it that tells me that those beans were roasted within the last couple of weeks at the most, I don't want to drink that coffee. That's me. I'm the nerd. So that's why I'm so glad that I met Mike at Roast to Order Coffee, because he gets it. Okay. They at Roast to Order Coffee, they roast the beans fresh. They ship them to your door. They are always coming up with amazing new varieties, flavors, delivery methods. Like, for instance, his people, his tribe were like, hey, we don't see any flavored coffee on there. What if we did some flavors? So he did, and it's selling great. They said, hey, what about those of us that don't use a Mr. Coffee or whatever, and we use one with the pods, the cups, right? The K-cups. Okay, great. So he did that. Now those are selling great. People love that. He listens to his audience. He listens to his customers. So so that's why he's always coming up with new stuff. It's awesome. So doesn't matter if you're like the Ethiopian light roast guy or the espresso girl or the decaf person or whatever, flavored coffee, whatever. He's got you covered. He's also got e-gift cards and coffee subscriptions for those of you that want to have your coffee just come to you and not have to worry about ordering it all the time. It's awesome. Love that. So if you want to learn more about any of this, please scan this QR code right here, and you will get 20% off your first order. And I want to know how you like it. I want to know what you ordered and how you like it. Let me know. All right. Okay, everybody. Now, I'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and thank you for watching, no matter where you're watching from. I am so excited to hear from you. If you are hearing stuff from Mike that's sparking interest or sparking a question, please let us know. YouTube, Facebook, especially, are super easy. Just drop a comment in there, and we'd love to have a conversation. Also, this is Mike's website. What are they going to find when they get there? Like, I know there's some great information. Like, how can people contact you there? What are they going to see?
Well, as soon as they log in, it's going to be a free grounding guide. This is something I wish I had before, when I was still walking around with shame and guilt. And the reason for that is it wasn't that I couldn't pay for it. It wasn't that I didn't have benefits for it. It just, I really did feel shame and guilt for what I had. And I wish I had some tools that I'm like, oh, it's okay. Something I didn't realize back then is that I was never taught how to feel safe in my own body.
Yeah.
So when I had to redo some of the therapy and when I had to actually relive some of the events, my body started convulsing. My hands started shaking really bad. My face has a permanent twitch every once in a while just because reliving that trauma sparks that. So my body remembered all of that. And I wish I had something like the grounding tools on my page to teach me softly and gently. It's okay to feel safe in your own body before you start asking those questions like, what happened to me? Because something I did that they tell you not to do is rush your healing. And I became such an advocate for that because I did what you're not supposed to do. I locked myself in my room with the laptop and I asked myself a bunch of questions for my alters. Dude, like, what happened to us? What happened to us? How did we? Because like I said, we wanted to know the pieces on the chessboard.
Sure.
Not knowing that my body was still holding on to all that trauma.
Yeah.
And then once I started feeling those shakes and feeling all of that, we were directed to a book, The Body Keeps Score.
Yes.
Once we read that, oh my God, it was such a life changer.
It's such a great book. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's triggering. Some parts are triggering, but it's knowledge that we needed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great book. For anybody that hasn't read it, check it out. It's fantastic. Yeah. Well, I love that. And thank you for that. Anybody that wants to get in touch with you, I mean, go to the website, get in touch with Mike. If you have questions, if you want that free download, that free guide, like, that's where you get it. Just go there. So now we've talked in the first segment, we were talking about all the like when you found out, like, how did you figure out what was going on and all the things that you're like, okay, well, now I don't ask these kind of questions anymore. I ask these kind of questions now because it's more productive, right? You've learned, you've grown, you've learned. At what point did you start, did the switch flip where DID is no longer a defect, it's a superpower?
That's a very good question. It came the moment I had to discuss it with my son, to be honest. because at the time that I discovered I had DID, I had come to a point where I had one major conversation with my son, and it wasn't a pleasant one, but it was one that I needed because I asked him about asking the proper questions.
Yep.
I asked my son, okay, son, how is it living with me? How is it having me as your father? I was not prepared for his answers, but it's something that we needed.
Wait, and how old was he at the time that you were asking?
He was 9. He's 11 now.
So 9 years old. Wow. Okay. That's
So
a heavy question for a 9-year-old.
It really is. It really is. And it's because he was my why. Dude, if I'm gonna do this, why am I gonna do it? So I needed to hear his perspective.
Totally.
And once we got that, we looked in the mirror and we're like, all right, this is what he sees. We need to get better, not only for ourselves, but for him. So we left our home. We left our partner. We left our boys. And it was such a hard thing to do because I thought I was abandoning them. I thought I was neglecting them.
Yeah.
But it's hard to justify it because I also stopped abandoning myself.
Yep.
It was the first time in my life that I put myself first. I'm like, dude, we need to work on ourselves. We need to find out what actually happened to us, be able to process that, and not in front of them.
Yeah.
We know what we look like, and it's a lot of emotional pain and re-traumatizing when you don't have the capacity for it. And I didn't have capacity for it. That's why it's important to feel safe in your body, to feel safe and have that safe space before reopening traumatic events again.
Yeah, like you've said this multiple times since we've been talking, and safety is huge. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Safety is a huge important thing. You've talked about safety before understanding, right? So what does that mean? What do you, like, if you had to explain it to somebody?
The perfect example I have that became the light bulb moment was that day that I actually left that home. My body was shaking at the ultimate highest. My face glitching was at the ultimate, and I couldn't utter out a sentence without breaking into a severe stuttering attack. Yeah. So I heard or read somewhere that MMA was good for stuff like this. And I walked and knocked on so many MMA doors, and they must have seen
MMA. Just to throw that out there, mixed martial arts is what you're
doing.
Okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure. I knew I figured that's what it was, but just for the audience, I just wanted to make sure in case we were talking about something else. Okay, cool. Go.
And it just seemed like all the doors I walked into, everybody has seen that movie American Sniper. And they're like, no, we don't want none of this here. Please go out back that door. And it really got that rejection started to kick in, right? But there's a part of us that wouldn't stop knocking on doors.
Sure.
Finally, there was a boxing gym. We walked in thinking that was the same thing, right? Because we saw the coach's face and we were like, he's going to kick us out. But Jeff, he came over and walked to us. And the only thing he said is, can you get in that ring? And I'm like, I can do that, coach. I think I could do that. So I saw Jeff, I'm remembering vividly, like walking in between those ropes, getting into that ring. And him not questioning me. He didn't interrogate me. He didn't ask me nothing about my past. He was just present. He allowed 5 minutes of presence with me in that ring.
Nice.
To where after those 5 minutes, my nervous system really did calm down.
Good. Yeah.
He allowed me to be seen. And in that moment, he put his hand on my shoulder, pointed at that door that I walked in through. And he said, Mike, the man walking out that door today is stronger than the man that walked in. Not because you changed, but because you stayed. That was a light bulb moment, man. It's like, dude, he provided the safety for me to feel safe and calm and to be able to interpret what he's actually telling me. because once I actually sat with what he told me, it was stronger than what he is. The version of us that we wake up with. Yes, it might not be louder. It might not be tougher, but it's stronger.
Yeah.
We're stronger because we wake up. The version of us that wakes up is stronger than the version of us who falls asleep.
Nice.
And Coach provided that through safety.
What's his name?
Insight, not knowledge.
What's his name?
Coach Mark. I'm not going to reveal his last name to give him his
don't need to do that. But I just wanted to say, Coach Mark, thank you. You're awesome. Well done, sir. Good job. Yeah, that's amazing. I want to acknowledge him, man, because that is, of all the people that all those gyms you walk by, all the places that you tried to go to that didn't want anything to do with you, he took you in, and that's a huge deal. So I just wanted to, just kudos, man. Well done. So yeah, it's awesome.
So now what we're trying to do is just spread that message of safety, because even through therapy, I had, up until that point, I was already doing therapy. And at that time, we didn't even know we were a system yet, because we still didn't feel that safety inside that therapy room to actually acknowledge what was going inside our head.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Coach Mark provided that safety that then the rest of us were like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's okay to share with people what's going on. It's okay to be vulnerable and stay in the moment. And yes, sometimes that over trust does bite us back in the butt, but it's still lessons that we learn through life, right? We're not going to let us hinder us anymore.
Hey, I can relate to part of your story, and that is I had somebody about, I don't know how many years ago, about 3 years ago. His name was Rob, and it was right after my most recent brain surgery in 2021. And I had some wicked side effects after that. And one of those side effects was large motor tics that made the whole right side of my body just shake. Like you're talking about some of the things you've been talking about remind me of that. And the whole, like my whole right side of my body would just do that, and I could not stop it. And the more I thought about it, the more I tried to suppress it, the worse it would get. And he looked at me one time. I was at a conference that I saw him at, and he looked at me and said, "Jeff, stop it. Stop trying to resist it, man. It's not a disability, man. Make it your superpower. Just roll with it, baby. Roll with it. If somebody doesn't like it, who cares? They're not gonna think about you 4 seconds after they see you anyway. Just let loose, man. Let it fly." And so that was the most freeing thing I ever heard, right? Because just be you, And so and it sounds like Coach Mark was kind of that guy for you, right? It was just like, you know what? It don't matter. It's okay.
He's still that way, man. He's part of my support team. He's always going to be part of my. So we have a support team just because we have 8 alters, 8 different parts.
Yeah.
And a part of the way we get through is not only this, to acknowledge the fact that we all live in the moment, but we all interpret things differently. So we all have their own emotions, their own feelings. So by acknowledging them, it makes it better for me at night. Because at night, if I don't acknowledge them, then all I hear is them. We should have said this. We should have tried this. Why didn't we try that? So I'd rather just acknowledging them now in the present moment than deal with them later.
Yeah. That's smart. That's smart, man. It's true. You don't want to put them on. Yeah. Don't ignore them. Oh man. Oh, wow. Well, so what, so how do you, this is something I feel like I could use the answer to this question. Like next time, if those tics come back for me, if those, when they do, how do you personally navigate days where your nervous system just goes crazy and feels overwhelmed and just, what am I going to, how do you do that? How do you deal with it?
The way I deal with it is with exercises, mental exercises, kind of like similar to the ones that I provide for free.
Nice.
Except that now we've done so much work, and not only for ourselves, but helping others, that we walk around with this acronym, BAR, BAR. And basically, you know how I told you the body remembers?
Yeah.
So the body will let us know when, okay, there's going to be a triggering event happening, or, hey, you're twitching too much, or my body will let us know. So the moment we receive that signal, hey, we actually stop and pause and take a deep breath. That's what the B stands for, breath. We take that deep breath, and then we acknowledge, which part of us is actually getting activated. Because like I said, we all live in the moment, but we all have our own emotions, our own feelings. But we can actually see something where it doesn't affect some of us, but it might affect 2 or 3 of us. So I have to acknowledge, okay, which one's getting triggered. Once I acknowledge and I know, okay, then I could take another deep breath and reframe the situation. Like, look, I know you got triggered, but we work as a team together now.
Nice.
We're good. We're protected. We are safe in this moment. And that allows me to take another deep breath and just calm and just be present. Feel that, allow myself to feel safe in my own body. And then those glitches do, like kind of like right now, they do tend to calm down a little bit.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Love that. Yeah. And you got to have, I mean, I know I'm not the only one. I know Mike is not the only one. Anybody that's living out there with any kind of invisible condition, especially one that affects you physically, that has physical effects that go with it, like tics or like what, things that are going on, mentally or physically that you can't control, or that you feel like you can't control all the time. Like, these are huge. These are amazing tips to be able to help that and work through that. Like, I have a download that I created even that's kind of like that. It's not in the same world of that, but it's Jeff's top 7 ways to stay out of the ER, right? So if you feel like some of us out there that have invisible conditions that have very physical aspects to it, like I literally have a device implanted in my brain right here that's doing work for me, and so it's like, if you feel that start to feel weird, you're like, and people can panic. And this download that I have is to help calm them down and walk through some very simple things, right? And similar to what you're talking about. You gotta, you know what? let me see, where is it? I'm just gonna throw it. I'm just gonna put it up here. Why not? Here you go, guys. We're talking about it. I may as well give it to you. There you go. It's free. Just click there. I gather a little bit of information about you, and then you get to download it, and it's super, super valuable. It has saved me multiple times. So, check it out.
Jeff, if you allow me just a second, what I love about that, especially yours in particular, because it is specifically for the people that have what you have. And that's amazing, because it allows them to check in with themselves, check in with their bodies. I'm like, all right, some internal work, man. That's awesome. You did that. Dude, big ups on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Because, when you start feeling that panic and that pain that reminds you of, oh no, I might have to have, oh my God, that's the same pain I felt when I had to have surgery last time. You freak out and you start to panic. Well, that doesn't help anybody. So, simple stuff. Like, I think the first one is have you had enough? Have you, first of all, breathe. Second of all, have you had enough, did you get enough sleep last night? Are you sleep deprived? Have you had enough water to drink today? Have you had enough to eat today? When's the last time you ate something? Like easy stuff. And when we progressively get a little more complicated, and okay, fine. After step 7, maybe you go to the urgent care or something and get checked out. But you gradually go there, and you don't just jump to conclusions because of fear or panic. That's the important piece of it. Same thing with you, I imagine. Like, you don't want panic and fear to take over, because that's when everything goes down. So, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we're in a really good spot to take our last break. So let's do that. And then I want to talk a little bit more on the other side of the break about maybe advice that you would have for people that maybe a loved one of theirs is like, I don't know, we don't have the diagnosis yet, but I wonder if this is what's going on, or maybe they just got the diagnosis of DID and they're wondering what the heck to do now. Let's talk about that on the other side of what you might tell them to help them. So All right, everybody, stick around. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Hey everybody, I want to just touch base on one thing before we continue real quick. I just had a guest on the show not that long ago. Her show will air very soon if it hasn't already. I don't remember where she landed on the schedule, but her name's Giselle, and she is working with a company that she introduced me to that I can't wait to tell you about. And I preface this by saying I only know enough to be dangerous at this point, so I don't know a ton about the ins and outs of this company or how they're going to be helpful for me. But I am in. I am so excited to explore what they have to offer, and it's called Healthy Home, and it's nothing I've ever seen before, and it has to do with stem cells, and we have billions of them in our body, and stem cells is what help us repair ourselves, right? They're the infantry that goes, the MASH unit, right, in the army that goes to where there's an injury and fixes it, and then goes on to the next one and fixes it. So if you're running low on those, this is so cool. Like I said, I don't know a ton about it yet, but I am learning. And if you want to learn with me and you want to check this out too, I'm so excited because I've been living with an invisible condition for my entire life. My first brain surgery was at 2 weeks old. I am very excited to see what this can do. So call that number if you have questions. There will be a very nice team on the other end that'll pick up the phone to answer all your questions. Or if you just want to dive in, look at the website, check it out. That's what the QR code's for. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now let's talk, man. Let's finish this up. I remember, what did I say at the beginning of before we went to the break? We were going to talk about something, and I completely forgot what we were going to talk about. Do you remember what I said?
Oh yeah, they remember. All right.
Oh, good. All right. Between the two of us, we'll be all right.
Two things that were brought up that we definitely want to come across is you asked earlier superpower, and you said superpower. What is a superpower?
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to my son and explaining DID is a superpower. And he's like, "What do you mean, Pop?" And I'm a big fan of comic books. Maybe that's why I said superheroes so much. But I told him there's a part of us, an alter, that relates a lot to Venom.
Okay.
So I told him, "Hey, Pop, look, I got a Venom over here. I got a Daredevil over there. I got a Punisher over there. Like, I got all these superheroes, bro, and they're here to protect me." The problem I had before, now I'm back at home. Now I'm with them. I live with them. I live with my partner because we will all feel safe enough. Yeah. And I told him, Pop, before I was walking around with these superheroes, not knowing that they were there to protect me. So they were coming at the wrong time. So there will be times where I'll be getting upset when I didn't need Venom at that time. I needed a calm person at that time to deal with it. And I didn't know how to do that, Pop. So now I know I have a group of superheroes in front of me, and I know they're here to help me and protect me. And that's why I do this, Pop. It allows us to understand what environment we're in, so I know what superhero needs to be in front to protect me, homie. As soon as I said that, he started asking me a bunch of questions about what other superpowers, where they came from, which is actually cool because I'm like, he let his guard down and we let our imagination flow, and it made the experience more normalized, where that shame and that guilt it completely disappeared. And now we walk around with this accepting that when I do this, or we have this calm, because one thing we realized is that we needed to be a mountain of support for them. Yeah. They are children, they are kids, they need to be kids, they're allowed to be children, they need to have their childhood. And by us dissociating so much and neglecting them, we were taking that away from them. So now, by being calm and being a mountain of support for them, it was amazing. And going to the second thing we wanted to talk about is how can loved ones help, and how did you help yourself? In our private chat, Jeff, I put a link for a YouTube video, and I share that with everybody. I share that with peer support groups that I do. I share that with people that just hit me up on Instagram. Awesome. That, more than anything, completely helped me expressing empathy for myself and my parts in my alters, because it allowed me to actually understand the difference between sympathy and empathy.
Yeah.
And once I learned the subtle difference, I knew that I had to show empathy for my parts and my alters and show them some love, show them some care. And when I did that, I understood that, it really just changed everything, because now we have the ability to not only show them empathy and show ourselves empathy, but now we can in turn show that and have that for others, including our boys.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I grabbed that link. Is that something you want to include for the audience as well?
Yeah, dude, definitely put that up there. Spread that like wildfire.
Sounds good, man. That'll be so. All right, everybody. That's gonna be in the notes. So when you're watching this, it's in the notes right now, and you'll be able to just click on that and check it out. So thank you. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I tell you what, man, we got about 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 before we're done, man. This is flown by, but I've so loved this. This is so cool. In the last 2 or 3 minutes, what advice would you give to, partners, parents, friends, or, somebody who wants to support someone with DID, or any kind of trauma-based condition? What would you tell them if they're finding out for the first time?
DID is not chaos, is not brokenness. DID is an adaptive survival superpower that taught our nervous system how to react. So if we can have empathy and understand that our reactions are not always ours, and understand that have some safety and compassion for us, and understand when we see reactions that are over the top, pause and ask themselves what happened to them that made them react that way, rather than judgment and shame.
That's so important. Oh man, yeah. Shame should never be part of the equation. Yeah, you got to. There's enough to worry about out there without heaping that on yourself.
And I say that because even before I was scared to talk about the idea of multiple personality disorder, is because we could see the micro expressions in other people if we were decide to.
Sure.
When you say DID, or whenever you say mental health, for that matters, for some reason people have a tendency to just feel it in their shoulders and attention, like not understanding that we all have mental health. Just like lungs, just like hearts, we all have mental health.
Yeah.
Just some of us have a more difficult time holding it together than others.
Right.
But it's about the mental exercises. Are you willing to do the work to, exercise your health?
Yeah, exactly. It's true. There's some very basic things everybody can do for their mental health. Yeah, it's true.
Dude, sounds
absolutely
amazing.
Right.
Part of our support group is a drum. We like.
Nice. Yeah.
So even if you got time to do that, because something we didn't know is just that by tapping on your body, sometimes it takes us out of that fight or freeze state, and just tapping it lets your body know, okay, you're running, you're doing something, so you don't have to freeze. So something just
love it.
That helps.
Yeah. Man, it can. That's amazing. That's a good practical tip. I love that. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we are done, man. We're out of time, man. Mike, but Mike, seriously, thank you for being here. This was absolutely amazing. I knew as soon as we had our first conversation, we had to do this. I'm so glad that we did, and so thankful for you and for everything you're doing for your community and for everybody else that's out there living with DID. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's take that down. There we go. All right, everybody. Listen, thank you for being here. We're so thankful for you. We're thankful that anywhere that you're watching, if you're, anywhere, if you're watching any of those platforms, or if you're watching on any of these platforms, thank you. I'm so glad you're here, and we're so glad that you have been watching, and I hope that you continue to watch and that you share, tell your friends, everybody in this social media world, like, follow, share, subscribe, all the things, and join us for our next episode, which will be Tuesday, February 3rd. Good Lord, we're already getting into February. Join us for the next show, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.